Have you ever wanted a backyard that made you feel like you were at a resort on a vacation? Yeah, me too. Join me while I transform our boring backyard into a private resort. And the crazy part is I'm going to try to DIY these projects all by myself with zero experience. Oh yeah, and here's the backyard we're going to do it in. Let's get started with the first project. Every yard needs a privacy fence, so that's where we're going to begin. But I know what you're thinking. Why do it yourself? Why not hire a contractor? Well, the answer is pretty simple, and that's money. You see, things have changed over the last few years and everything has gotten so darn expensive. For example, I got 3 separate quotes from 3 separate contractors on doing this fence, and the lowest of the 3 was $12,000 parts and labor. Ouch! That's expensive if you ask me. So I decided to DIY this and save myself some money. And if you're wondering about my numbers, my cost, all this material for this entire fence, talking concrete, shovels, lumber, everything from A to Z, was $3,600 all in. Now, I didn't charge my labor because I'm doing this project for myself. And to be completely transparent, this is my first fence I've ever built. Now, I do want to say I've been in the construction business for many years, but I've never built a fence. I've seen many done, so I knew I could do it. But it went in pretty well. Now I'm starting on the second project, and that's going to be storage. And instead of building 1 shed, we're going to build 5. Yeah, I know. That's crazy. But you're probably wondering, why build 5 sheds when you can just build 1 large one? Hear me out. My original plan was to build 1 large shed, but then I had a thought. We want our backyard to have a resort feel, and walking out of my back door and immediately seeing a huge shed would completely ruin the vibe. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Now, imagine going on a beautiful vacation to a gorgeous resort, and you walk out the back door expecting to see a beautiful pool and gorgeous landscaping, but instead you immediately see a massive shed, kind of like a big barn. Wow, your vacation would be over. You'd be like, this is the worst view I've ever seen. So that's the concept here. I decided against having 1 big shed, and instead building multiple tiny sheds that would equal the same square footage, and instead of having it in my backyard, I could shove it on the side of the house where it wouldn't be visible. That was my goal. But again, I know what you're thinking. You want to talk numbers. How much did these sheds cost to build? Well, first, let me go over the contractor quotes. After getting several quotes, these sheds, they were going to charge me $6,000 per shed. That's because these were custom builds, on a slab, framed out, roofing, you name it. But I thought $6,000, that's crazy, it's so tiny. It's like a glorified doghouse if you ask me. So I attempted to do it myself. And with all the materials and tools involved, all in, was a little less than $1,000 per shed. So I did all the sheds for $6,000, and I would have had to pay $30,000 if I went with a contractor. Ouch. Anyway, let's move on to the third project, and that was building a deck. But just like I said before, I want to be transparent. I've never built a deck or sheds or fence or any of these projects that I'm attempting in this backyard. These are all my first time. Now, I have basic ideas and concepts behind it, and anything I didn't know, I literally watched YouTube videos. I was able to get all the information I needed. Now, when I was watching deck videos, the one thing I couldn't figure out or catch on any YouTube series was how to not hurt your back building a deck. You see, my knees and my lower back were killing me through this project. So if you've got any experience with that and you want to let me know, I would love to hear it. And you're probably looking at this deck and wondering, why didn't I do the pool pavers all the way across? Well, over the years, I've done a lot of trim carpentry in multi-million-dollar homes, and in their backyards, they always included so many interesting elements, like they mix and match different materials, concrete, pavers, decking, composite, wood, reclaimed wood, you name it. And despite their yards being flat, they always added it on different elevations. So you'd have a pool deck on one level, another decking on another, and they just created this really interesting effect to their backyard. So that's pretty much where my mindset was when I decided to do this composite decking. Now for this project, building this pergola, this is all about shade. We live in Florida, and this backyard is always getting scorched with the sun. I mean, you feel like you're in the desert. So we needed shade desperately. But unlike my other DIY projects, this time it was actually cheaper to go with a prefab kit than it was to build one on site. I know, go figure, right? But this company had some really cool selling points, and I was totally sold. And one of them was this top. Those louvers open and close. They're rainproof. It's got a built-in gutter system. And the best part is it's made to look like real wood. So this aluminum will last forever and still look really, really cool. And this shutter wall that I'm working on right here, this is for extra privacy. How cool. Oh yeah, and in case you're wondering about any of these projects in this video, where I got the things from, like this pergola or anything like that, I'll definitely link it below in the description. Now let's move on to this walkway. It's an eyesore with these trash cans, and it just doesn't make sense. And we're gonna need to make this feel like a resort, so here's what we're gonna do. And while my son supervises, I'm gonna move on to leveling this dirt out. This was the concept I came up with. It was pretty much like concrete, how they screed it across to make sure it's level. That's what I'm doing here, except I wasn't trying to make it level. I wanted to have a slope for the water runoff. So all I was trying to do was keep it on the same grade. I was sure to lay down felt paper, and on Amazon, I was able to find these really cool grids. These patterns will hold gravel, and they'll hold up to weights up to 6,000 to 7,000 pounds. Pretty cool. Now, I've never done it before, so I can't wait to show you how it comes out. This thing is really cool. And you know me, I like to keep things transparent. So off camera, I actually hit a few irrigation lines when I was hammering these spikes down for this grid, and I didn't know it till it was all done and water was just pouring up. Ouch. What a nightmare that became. It was a real struggle, but I worked through it and had to redo certain areas of the gravel several times. I was really bummed. So before you do any backyard projects, definitely call 811. It's a free marking service that comes out and it'll mark anywhere there's plumbing, electrical, irrigation, gas, stuff like that. So that way you'll never hit a line. Now the walkway's complete, we're moving on to the next project, which is going to be a fire pit sitting area. This should be fun. Now, when I got involved with this project, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. But what I didn't calculate was the summer heat and the digging. Wow. I really felt dizzy and lightheaded, and a few of the times off camera, I had to jump in the pool because I thought I was going to pass out. It was really hot. What I like about the pavers is it didn't take a lot of experience or skill to do it. It just took a lot of labor with the ground prep. So if you don't mind a little sweat equity, installing your own pavers is the way to go. You can totally DIY it. Oh, and you see what I'm doing? I'm adding this border all the way around. I decided to make it more like a sunken fire pit area because of the elevation. And do I know what I'm doing? Well, the answer is, I don't know. I just work here. I make these hats and I offer them on my site. It's all about teaching my kids entrepreneurship and working with their hands. So if you're interested in a hat like that, check my link in the description box. Now let's clean up some of these Adirondack chairs and fire pit and start installing this stuff. Now I decided I needed to do a little landscaping, so I added some tropical flavor. Banana trees, hydrangeas. Thought it made a cool looking element. What do you think? Pretty sweet, right? Not a bad project, and it went in really, really quick. I'm digging the turnout. Now let's move on to this next project. And I had a big idea. Let's rent this mini excavator. This thing will help me knock this project out. Well, I was wrong. It did do a lot of work quickly, but the strength involved was through the roof. Riding that mini excavator was like riding a bull. It was trying to buck me the entire time. I literally used every muscle I had just to hang on it. I was exhausted. And in fact, the entire evening, I was just vibrating. Even laying in bed watching TV, I was just vibrating and shaking. It was terrible. But as you have it, we had a lot of rain came in and it made things really wet and damp, so I couldn't do that concrete. That's why I opted to switch gears and start staining that fence black. I knew it would add for that dimensional pop, so I waited for everything to dry out and then I got busy with the gravel and concrete. This was pretty good. The only thing that was a bummer was I had to do one row at a time because I'm a one-man show. And it was a lot of concrete. It was almost 8 bags of concrete per square. Ouch. My back and my legs again were killing me. But the project was going smoothly, so I shouldn't complain. Let's finish off this ground prep and get ready to roll out some artificial turf. This is going to be fun. I was actually dreading this because I didn't think I was capable, but turns out it's so simple to do. Again, it's just all about the prep work. Just making sure you come up with the design and the math and making sure you have enough. Easy peasy. And when I was doing my artificial turf research, something I didn't know was they have all kinds of different grasses. So you can pick turf that's going to match your yard if you're going to mix artificial turf and real grass. Now, it doesn't match right this minute because I actually had to turn off all the irrigation system for several months while I was doing all these projects. But here shortly, you'll see in the end, the grass is green and it almost blends perfectly. Looks really cool, and I really enjoyed this grass pattern. Pretty sweet, right? And in case you're wondering, what are you going to do with this random slab in your backyard? Well, actually, I'm going to build an outdoor kitchen on it. But first, we're going to install another pergola on top of it, and we're going to go through this thing pretty quickly. It's the same one as before, except it's twice the size. It's huge. And luckily, my gorgeous wife came out and gave me a hand maneuvering the frame. After all, it was too large to do by myself. And with my pride, I would have fallen over and broken my arms and legs before I ever asked for some help. So fortunately, she came out and gave me a hand. But this pergola is coming along well, and since we're still waiting on the freight to deliver my outdoor kitchen appliances, we're going to skip on to the next project. This one's going to be awesome. I've been looking forward to this. And fortunately for me, I still had a few days left on this rental of the excavator, so I was able to use it. But I was getting going and making good progress, and then the rain came in. Flooded me out, and we actually lost several months due to all that weather. But let's move on staining the fence while we're waiting for things to dry up. And once the weather got a little better, I was able to move forward with the landscape fabric. Oh, and you see this rock? This is actually crushed limestone. It's awesome. It drains like gravel, but compacts like concrete. This project is going to be a playground and an outdoor fitness area. I found this company called Swing Sesh, and they offer this amazing product. I mean, what a cool concept. While I work out, my son will be able to play. What's cooler than that? I mean, this company really thought it through. It's going to have everything. And for a playground, it's going to have monkey bars, rock climbing walls, swings, slides, you name it. For this next part, I needed a few friends to come help me. It was very difficult putting this thing in place considering the height and weight of it. And while they held it down, I was able to bolt it. It's going to be a rope climbing station and gymnastic rings. So basically what I'm telling you is, if I don't look really in shape by next summer, then something's wrong. And you know me, I'm all about the extra embellishments and the details, and I decided I wanted this sled pulling station, kind of like CrossFit. So I decided to paint this grid, and I got 7 yards out of it. Pretty cool. Now let's do some of the extras. Let's mount these weights. Let's get a few things put into place. It's coming along. Already can try out the bench press. Let's put in these medicine balls. And I always need a little motivation, so I decided to make a little sign. What do you think? Pretty cool, right? Your only limit is you. I mean, it's a true story. Now, while I do this planner, I haven't decided on what I want to plant in it yet, so I'm going to hold off on that for now. But I'm not sure if I wanted to go tropical or more like evergreens, but we'll find out. See this sled pull? Pretty cool, huh? And the battle ropes? Oh yeah, I'm already feeling the pain. But this thing is dope. My kids are going to love it. My teenagers will work out on it. My son will play on it. And hey, like I said, we're all going to get in shape right here in our own backyard. But now let's move on to that kitchen because the appliances have arrived. This is going to be fun. And the best part of it, it's going to be a modular outdoor kitchen. So if we ever decide to move, we can take these cabinets and appliances with us and set it up at the new house. Now, if I do this right, I'll be flipping some burgers, grilling some dogs, and cooking some pizza in the pizza oven before you know it. So let's get busy. I had to start with the framing of the cabinets, and I'm using pressure-treated lumber for that. And for the kitchen appliances, they came from a company called Kokomo Grills. They're extremely affordable, yet super high in quality. They're amazing. But the best part is I asked their customer service if they would offer you a discount, and they said yes. You can get 20% off their entire site plus free shipping. So I'll have that link below along with the discount code. And should you want to build my modular outdoor kitchen for yourself, I'll link below the build plans as well. And although the construction of this modular kitchen is pretty simple and straightforward, it was a little confusing when it came to the appliances. Like making sure they fit in each hole. So it took a lot of math and a lot of pre-planning. So fortunately for you, I drew the plans up so you'll be able to knock it out. But I did a dry fit test as I went through. I would basically put in some appliances, make sure they would fit, and then I would continue on with the cross members and the supports. The process worked out really, really well, and I had it all dialed in. Now my wife came out and helped me load in the grill just to make sure it was going to fit. Then I came in with the mini fridge. Oh yeah, this thing is coming together. I'm really digging it. But I gotta tell you, the part I'm looking forward to the most is the pizza oven. This thing is going to be awesome. I can't wait to cook pizzas in here, And if I'm being honest, pizza's my favorite food. Now I have a pizza oven. I have no excuse not to try to really dial it in and become a good cook or a good chef. At least that's what my wife is hoping on. I guess we'll find out how this goes. And the most satisfying part of this entire project was plugging in the propane tanks and finalizing all the appliances. This thing is really coming out awesome. And I made this false front to hide the propane tank. Pretty cool, right? I used magnets so I can pop it on and pop it off as needed. But this kitchen came out awesome in the end. It's built with a grill, a griddle, a pizza oven, mini fridge, built-in trash can, built-in drawers and paper towel holders. I mean, it's got it all. It is awesome. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the final reveal of my backyard. I turned it into a resort and I'm loving it. My family is loving it, and I did it. I did it in 14 months all by myself with no experience, and I've never done any of these projects before. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you DIY it?